Welcome learner to our science lesson today, and as I promised you today, we are going to learn about the artificial fertilizers. We've been talking about the natural fertilizers, where we said natural fertilizers are 4 in number: green manure, the farmyard manure, the compost manure, and lastly organic mulches. Now, artificial fertilizers are also known as inorganic fertilizers, also known as inorganic fertilizers. So most of the time in the exam they will use this word. Which of the following is not a disadvantage or an advantage of inorganic fertilizers? So you must understand the word inorganic in this case means artificial. So these are made or prepared in the industries. So whereas we are doing the natural fertilizers at home, these one are prepared chemically in the field, in the industries. So they are divided into two. There are two types of inorganic fertilizers. And this depending on the number of major nutrients found in them. So depending on the number of major nutrients, called macronutrients, found in them, we have two. Number one, we have what we call the straight fertilizers. And then we have B, compound fertilizers. So very fast we go to the straight fertilizers. You make these notes well because we require them during times of exam. So straight fertilizers. Now they are known as straight fertilizers because they contain one macronutrient. Contain only one major, that is macronutrient. They only contain one macronutrient. Like e.g. nitrogen, phosphorus, or even potassium. If a fertilizer contains any of these, then that one is a straight fertilizer because it contains only one macronutrient. Remember we have said we categorize them according to the number of macronutrients found in them. So in this case we have three. There are three types of straight fertilizers. Number one, we have what we call nitrogenous fertilizers. There's a straight fertilizer. This contains nitrogen as the macronutrient or major nutrient. So for a fertilizer to be called a nitrogenous fertilizer, then it means that it contains only nitrogen as the macronutrient. Then from there, we have what we call phosphatic fertilizer. I told you that divided into three. This one contains phosphorus as the macronutrient. And lastly, we have in this category potassic fertilizer, and this contains potassium. Some other people call it potassium, but it's potassium as the macronutrient. nutrient. So we have nitrogenous fertilizers, phosphatic fertilizers, and potassic fertilizers in the category of straight fertilizers. So we have a number of them. In each category, we have examples of such. So we are going to see that in a table very fast before we move on to the compound fertilizers. Today we are not doing a lot of things because what we are doing here is very straight, something that you can be able to know. So they are divided into three, as I said. So we begin with the category number 1. We have nitrogenous fertilizers. Make your table so well, not like mine. Nitrogenous fertilizers, that side. Then from there we have phosphatic fertilizers. So this will give you the name phosphatic, phosphorus. So phosphorus we found a macronutrient. Then we have potassic fertilizers. So in this case where we have nitrogenous fertilizers, we have number 1 what we call the CAN, calcium ammonium nitrate. I've been talking about it. It's a nitrogenous fertilizer. So this means calcium ammonium nitrate is a top dressing fertilizer and is a nitrogenous fertilizer at the same time. Number 2, we have what we call blood meal. Now I want to explain how blood meal is made. Now blood meal fertilizer, you get the blood from maybe a cow or even a goat, and then it's dried, just dried. You're getting it very fresh, placed somewhere to dry. That is a fertilizer. Simple as that. There's nothing else. Maybe they add some preservatives, chemicals preserve it, but that's how it's made. It's made from animal blood. And then the last one is sulfate of ammonia. Sulfate of ammonia. Most of the time they write it as SA, but it's supposed to be in capital letters, SA. If you see SA, that means sulfate of ammonia. The of is not there. It's not found in this particular SA. So sulfate of ammonia is a nitrogenous fertilizer. There is another one called basic slug, and the rest. I'll explain that later. Then here we have what we call the bone meal. Bone meal. Of course, you can if this one is from blood, this is of course is from bones of animals. Bone meal as a phosphatic fertilizer. Then we have what we call the SSP. SSP letter means single. The singles for phosphates. Then we have another one called double phosphate, and the last one is triple phosphate in that order. So phosphatic fertilizers are very easy to remember. Lana, you only need to remember bone meal alone. Then the other ones are single, double, and triple. Single means 1. So single, double, and triple. But all of them are phosphate. Then we go to the last category of potassic fertilizers. There are only 2. Muriate of potash, and the last one is sulfate of potash. So there are 2 fertilizers that are potassic fertilizers. One is muriate of potash, then the last one is sulfate of potash. Remember, you have sulfate of ammonia and sulfate of potash. Sulfate of ammonia is a nitrogen fertilizer, and sulfate of potash is a potassic fertilizer. And from there, Lana, you have gotten that right. We move to the compound fertilizers, the category number 2 of artificial fertilizers, and we say category number 2 is what we call the compound fertilizers. The compound fertilizers, that is B, are also known as mixed mixed fertilizers. The reason why I'm calling them mixed fertilizers because they contain 2 or more macronutrients. Contain 2 or more macronutrients. Macronutrients. In this case, talk about major nutrients. So contain 2 or more major nutrients. Major nutrients. Then from there we talk about, can I give examples of compound fertilizers? Examples of compound fertilizers. Examples of mixed fertilizers. Number 1, we have what we call the MAP. MAP means monoammonium phosphate. Monoammonium phosphate, MAP. Then we have DAP. Of course, diammonium. So these are also very easy to remember. The DAP is diammonium phosphate. And there are 3. The last one is NPK. NPK. This term means nitrogenous. We talk about nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Meaning that this fertilizer contains 3 macronutrients: nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. Potassium is chemical name is abbreviated K. K means potassium. So now we come to the end of the artificial fertilizers, which we say they are inorganic fertilizers, and this we say they are prepared in the industries. And there are 2 types: nitrogenous fertilizers, straight fertilizers and compound fertilizers. And compound fertilizers are also known as mixed fertilizers, where we say straight fertilizers are also 3, depending on the macronutrient they contain, that is nitrogenous, potassic, and phosphatic. Then these are also 3: DAP, MAP, and NPK. MAP meaning monoammonium phosphate, diammonium phosphate, and nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Now, in our next lesson, that is tomorrow, we shall be looking at the advantages and disadvantages of using the fertilizers, both manures and the artificial fertilizers. We will see that there's a disadvantage and there's an advantage. Like, for example, one disadvantage of using manures, like for example the green manure, talking about the farmyard manure, they take too long to release nutrients into the soil. Like for example, look at what we said, green manure. We said green manure is taking 3 to 4 weeks in the garden after it has been plowed back into the soil. For it to be able to release the nutrients found in them must take 3 to 4 weeks. You can imagine that time. But if you compare that to artificial fertilizers, for example CAN, you have just bought top dressing fertilizer CAN. Once you place it there, because it has a specific macronutrient, it will just fix the nutrients very fast, immediately, almost immediately. So that's a disadvantage. But in CAN, the artificial fertilizers is an advantage because they have macronutrient that is known actually. But in the other side, manures do not have a specific nutrient. We can't say whether farmyard manure as nitrogenous macronutrient or as potassic macronutrient. We can't identify them. But in artificial fertilizers, you can say this is a nitrogenous fertilizer, meaning that it has a nitrogen as a main nutrient. So I want to stop at that point, learner, and I wish you well. I want you to make these notes and make them very short and clear so that you can be able to read them anytime that you get that work to read. So next time, as I promised you, we shall deal with advantages and disadvantages of manures, that is fertilizers, and the natural fertilizer manures. So thank you, and may God bless you.